ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। ओम श्री परमात्मने नमः। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna, welcome you all. So today we are going to learn from verse number 21. Verse number 21. Will you please share the screen? Thank you. Veda vinashinam nityam yainamajamavyayam katham sa purushaha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. Veda knows avinashinam indestructible, nityam always existing, yaha one who, enam this soul, ajam unborn, avyayam immutable, katham how, saha that, purushaha person, partha o partha that is Arjuna, kam whom, ghatayati causes to hurt, hanti kills, kam whom. Translation. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Thank you. So here in this verse we get 4 qualities of Atma. First is avinashinam, that is indestructible. 2 is nityam, that is eternal, which is always existing. 3 is ajam, that is unborn. And 4 is avyayam, that is without decay or immutable. So here Bhagavan says, Katham sa purushaha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. So if it is the nature of the soul, how can it kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? So here Bhagavan is inspiring Arjuna to fight the battle, to liberate himself, and also motivating us, all of us, to fight the battle of life and liberate ourselves. So we ignorantly think ourselves the controller, which we truly are not. Ahamkara vimudhatma karta aham iti manyate. Ahamkara vimudhatma. So we are deluded by false pride, false ego, ahamkara. And that is why we think ourselves the controller, but which we truly are not. So here Bhagavan is removing this delusion from our heart. If we follow the duties of life in order to follow the order of the Lord for the welfare of this world, then we can slowly reach our true identity. Because that is a process of purification, as we said in our previous class also. So by the purification of heart, we can ultimately reach our true identity. A learned person knows that he does not do anything. All the activities are taking place under the influence of nature, especially the modes of nature. Naiva kinchit karomi iti yukta manyeta tattvavid. As we will see in chapter 5, Bhagavan will describe. So in this verse, why Bhagavan is inspiring Arjuna to fight the battle? This is the spiritual explanation, spiritual aspect. And the material aspect is, as we see in Manu Samhita, the law book of mankind, it is said that the aggressors to be killed so that in his next life, he will not have to suffer the reactions of the sins he has committed in this life. So here Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna indirectly that these Duryodhana and party are the aggressors. We all know that. So you will actually help them by reducing their suffering for the sins they have committed in this life only. They will not have to suffer the results in the next life also. So this is the purport of this verse. So with this we can move on to the next verse, that is verse number 22. वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णान्यन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. Vasamsi, garments, jirnani, old and worn out, yatha, just as, vihaya, giving up, navani, new garments, grihnati, does accept, naraha, a man, aparani, others, tatha, in the same way, sharirani, bodies, vihaya, giving up, jirnani, old and useless, anyani, different, samyati, verily accepts, navani, new sets, dehi, the embodied. Translation. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, The soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Thank you. So, this verse is very similar to verse number 13, as we studied, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namuhyati. So, there also it was mentioned not to lament for this changeful body. And here also Bhagavan says that it is like the changes of outfits. Jirna, that is the old and useless, old and torn clothes we don't wear. We usually throw them away. So, why are you lamenting for these old and useless bodies? Here specifically Bhagavan is mentioning Bhishma Deva and teacher Dronacharya, for whom Arjuna was specifically lamenting. They are old people. So Bhagavan is saying as if that it is not directly, indirectly he is saying, he is indicating towards them. So if it is the case, then you should not lament for Dronacharya and Bhishma Deva, because they will get a new fresh body. So please don't lament. So as we see that soul considers itself male, female, human, animal, etc. when it wears a body. So that is what we call as conditioned soul. And it is very similar to a dedicated actor, you see, who after wearing the costume of the role he is playing, of the character he is playing, becomes so engrossed in the story of the drama that he starts identifying himself with the character he is playing. It's just like that. We also do the same, isn't it? So, what can liberate us from this delusion? Only perfect knowledge can liberate us from this delusion. So we see this transference of atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the super soul, that is Paramatma. So super soul fulfills the desire of the Jivatma as a friend fulfills the desire of another friend. As we see in Mundaka Upanishad and in Shvetashvetara Upanishad, the analogy of two birds we already discussed. So the captivated bird and the witnessing bird. So when the captivated bird is turning its face to the free witnessing bird, immediately its ignorance is removed and it understands the glories, and it gets liberation. So verse number 23 and 24 we will study together. नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावकाः न चैनं क्लिदयन्त्यापो न शोषयति मारुताः. Na, never, inam, this soul, chindanti, can cut to pieces, shastrani, weapons, na, never, inam, this soul, dahati, burns, pavakaha, fire, na, never, cha, also, inam, this soul, kledayanti, moistens, apaha, water, na, never, shoshayati, dries, marutaha, wind. Translation. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Verse number 24. अच्छेद्योऽयमदाह्योऽयम् अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च नित्यः सर्वगतः स्थाणुरचलोऽयं सनातनः. अच्छेद्यः, unbreakable. Ayam, this soul. Adahyah, unable to be burned. Ayam, this soul. Aklebhyah, insoluble. Ashoshyah, not able to be dried. Eva, certainly. Cha, and. Nityah, everlasting. Sarvagataha, all pervading. Sthanuhu, unchangeable. Achalaha, immovable. Ayam, this soul. Sanatanaha, eternally the same. Translation. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither burnt nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Thank you. So these are the qualities that we get. Achedyaha, unbreakable, never can cut to pieces. Aklebdyaha, that is insoluble, water cannot moisten. Adahyaha, that is fire cannot burn, or it cannot be burned. And Ashosyaha, that is wind cannot dry it. Ashosyaha, cannot be dried. So, at the same time, Nitya, Sarvagataha, Sthanuhu, Achalaha, Sanatanaha. Nityaha, everlasting. Sarvagataha means all pervading. Sthanuhu means which is sthira swabhava, that is unchangeable. It is called as sthira swabhava. Achalaha, that is immovable, and Sanatanaha, that is eternally the same. So as we see, this Sarvagataha for the Jivatman, it is used because life is there even in fire and sun. As the research is going on, all the scientists are trying their best to get the proof of life in different planets, we see. So in sun globe also life is present because of this all-pervasive nature of the soul. Now as we see, what is the proof of this? A simple proof is, as we see, as it is the all-pervasive of all-pervasive nature, definitely it is present everywhere. Now, why human being cannot live in other planets in this body? Because as we are living in this earth planet, so our composition of this material body is different than the residents of other planets. Because in our body, the earth element is of a great amount. So similarly, it is we can assume that in other planets where the fire element is higher in the atmosphere, definitely their body will have more amount of fire element. Similarly, where the water element is higher, the bodies will be also with higher water content. But definitely, whatever the body may be, the material body may vary, their compositions may vary, but definitely constitutional difference is definitely at the level of the body, but at the level of soul, there is no difference. So soul is present everywhere due to its all-pervasive nature. Okay. So there is not much there to discuss in this verse. So we will move on to verse number 25. Verse number 25. अव्यक्तोऽयमचिन्त्योऽयम् अविकार्योऽयमुच्यते तस्मादेवं विदित्वैनं नानुशोचितुमर्हसि. Avyaktah, invisible. Ayam, this soul. Achintyaha, inconceivable. Ayam, this soul. Avikaryaha, unchangeable. Ayam, this soul. Uchyate is said. Tasmat, therefore. Evam, like this. Viditva, knowing it well. Inam, this soul. Na, do not. Anushochitum, to lament. Arhasi, you deserve. Translation. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. So here we find avyakta, achintya, and avikarya. Avyakta means invisible, that is unmanifest. Achintya is inconceivable, that is uninferable. And avikarya means immutable, that is changeless. Now avyakta, why avyakta? That is unmanifest. The existence itself cannot be established experimentally. Right? The existence cannot be established experimentally. It is dependent on the Shruti or the Vedic wisdom and the fact of direct perception, that is aparoksha anubhuti, it is called in the Shrutis. As we see, there are so many things in this world that we accept solely on the basis of superior authorities since our childhood till date, isn't it? So definitely here also for this spiritual science, we must have to depend on the Vedic wisdom, that is Shrutis. And second is achintya, that is inconceivable or uninferable, which cannot be inferred, which cannot be conceived by mind and cannot be inferred by any perception or mind or intellect. So mind, it is not it is not possible for the mind to capture Atma, to reach Atma. So when mind becomes thoughtless, without any waves of thoughts, completely still, that is possible in meditation or by constant, continuous chanting of the holy name of the Lord. It is only possible then, otherwise not. So that is why avyakta, achintya, and avikarya means changeless. As we see, we have discussed earlier also, in different way, in different verses it is mentioned, because Atma is not subject to any kind of changes like the material body. So this is the case. Okay. Sorry. So, as we said in our previous class also, basically these are the characteristics of Atma, which has been discussed in these few verses. From verse number 16 till verse number 25. Now we see Bhagavan will say the materialistic approach, the qualities of Atma. The discussion ends here. Now he will tell about the materialistic approach. Verse number 26. Verse number 26, 27, 28 and 29 we will chant together and then we will discuss. अथ चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं तथापि त्वं महाबाहो नैनं शोचितुमर्हसि. Atha, if, however, cha, also, enam, this soul, nityajatam, always born, nityam, forever, va, either, manyase, so you think, mritam, dead, tatha api, still, tvam, you, Mahabaho, O mighty armed one, na, never, enam, about the soul, shochitum, to lament, arhasi, deserve. Translation. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed one. Verse number 27. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmada pariharyerthe na tvam shochitumarhasi. Jatasya, of one who has taken his birth. He, certainly, dhruvaha, a fact, mrityuhu, death, dhruvam, it is also a fact, janma, birth, mritasya, of the dead, cha, also, tasmat, therefore, apariharye, of that which is unavoidable, arthe, in the matter, na, do not, tvam, you, shochitum, to lament, arhasi, deserve. Translation. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Verse number 28. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyaktani dhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. Avyakta adini, in the beginning, unmanifested, bhutani, all that are created, vyakta, manifested, madhyani, in the middle, bharata, O descendant of Bharata, avyakta, non-manifested, nidhanani, when vanquished, Eva, it is all like that. Tatra, therefore. Ka, what? Paridevana, lamentation. Translation. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? Okay, so we can keep 29 for the time being. We can discuss verse number 26, 7, 8. And then if time permits, we will continue. Thank you. So verse number 26 we see here Bhagavan is indicating the atheistic and materialistic theory. It means that in Dwapara Yuga also Lokayatakas and Vaibhashikas existed. So according to them, the life symptoms take place at a certain mature condition of material combination. This is very similar to the thoughts of modern scientists and materialists. They say that the body is a combination of physical elements and life symptoms develop by interaction of physical and chemical elements. That is a modern day concept. So the science of anthropology and the nihilistic non-devotional Buddhist sect follow this philosophy. And Bhagavan says, if you think this way also, there is no cause to grieve in that case, because many living entities are generating and vanquished every moment. So there is no question to lament. If it is the case that thousands and crores of entities are generating and getting vanquished every moment, there is no question to lament. So verse number 27, we see that one has to take birth according to past actions. And after finishing the activities of one term, one has to die to take birth for the next. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Tasmad apariharyarthe natvam shochitum arhasi. So it is going through cycles of birth and death, and it is going on without liberation. And we see that Bhagavan as Kala, that is eternal time, he is the administrator of this ever-going process. We will discuss elaborately some other time how, but death follows birth. It is inevitable. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. So death follows birth, birth follows death. It is inevitable process. So one should not lament and escape from the duties in the mode of ignorance. Tyamas tyag, that also we discussed earlier. So out of ignorance, one should not renounce anything. So escaping from the duties is no way granted on this ground. So, and verse number 28 we see, the material body has no factual existence. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata. Avyakta nidhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. So, if it is the case that it was unmanifest in the beginning, it will be unmanifest after annihilation. So, in the interim part only it exists. So, the eternity of soul is established. It is always there, whether manifest or unmanifest, it is always present. Material body may or may not be present. So the Vedic wisdom we see encourages self-realization process on the basis of non-existence of material body. As we see in verse number 16, Asat and Sat, Bhagavan describes material body as Asat and Atma as Sat. Sat means existent and Asat means which is non-existent. So the self-realization process in our Vedic wisdom is based on this concept, that is the non-existence the non-existence of material body. So the material body is Asat. Now we see that Vyakta means unmanifest, manifest. So Vyakta and Avyakta. Avyakta means unmanifest and Vyakta means manifest. So when Atma manifests itself before the senses, it becomes Vyakti. Vyakti means a person. So okay, we are running out of time. So with this we will end here. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Thank you.